Hello and welcome in to Friday. We are at Friday, everybody. What's good? What's going on? So a couple things that I am going to talk into today. Hello, Gene. Welcome into the live stream. Um, First of all, I got some hands-on time with the Pixel 9 and 9 Pro, as well as the Pixel Watch 3 XL. Shout out to the homies at Best Buy. Y'all are cool for letting me play around with it. So had a lot of fun doing so yesterday. I dropped a little video last night, just kind of, letting you guys know how I felt, first impressions on my thoughts. And I'm going to go a little bit more into depth with that. Also, discussing custom Android ROMs. For those that are interested, I've been back at it with flashing custom ROMs on my devices, preferably my Pixels. And I get some repetitive questions that I'm going to answer in today's podcast. So all that coming at you today, and a little demo of like some of the things I can do with my Pixel 8a on a custom ROM versus what you could do with stock Android. And those are subjective, so I don't expect everybody to be on a wow factor to it, but it is something that I'm going to showcase and share with everybody. So glad to have you guys here. Before I get started, if you guys want to grab 1 month free of Helium mobile service, scan that QR code below right there, or just go into the description, find the link, download the app, sign up, and use my promo code to get your first month for free. And if you guys would like to support the channel directly, I'll put this QR code up in the top left corner. You guys can scan that. Anything helps if you guys choose to, but the best way you guys can help out my channel is just simply liking the video, sharing it on your social platforms, and if you're new to the channel, subscribing and becoming a member. As if you guys didn't know, this week, a lot of the videos that had gone live for you guys to see were actually made available for members only to see them first. So if you want to get ahead of everybody else of seeing the video, become a member today, and I would deeply appreciate that. So anyhow, let's move some of the instructions out the way, and let me get into the first topic at hand, which is going to be the Google Pixel 9. The Google Pixel 9, obviously, to me, I was pleasantly surprised. I genuinely was surprised playing around with it, being able to take some photos with it and things like that. It was a shock factor to me, and the fact that I've always supported Google Pixel phones and always preferred them over any other device that there is on the market out there, right? Like, there's the Samsung Galaxies, there's the iPhones, and I've used them. But the Google Pixel ones are the ones that I really tend to gravitate to. And the other half of this podcast today is part of the reason why. So there's a little bit more leeway to move around with the device. And, with even the base model Pixel 9, it doesn't feel like it's a marginal gap between that and the Pro model. So the Pro model obviously does have additional RAM. It does have an additional camera sensor. And if you're someone that's like really, really, really versed into the smartphone photography world, obviously you will notice a difference in those because you'll be having that telephoto lens to be able to take photos and things like that. So, but using the base model Pixel 9, you're not going to feel like you've been left out of anything. Where you kind of caught that feeling, like with the Pixel 8 to the 8 Pro, the 7 to the 7 Pro, and the 6 to the 6 Pro. You don't feel that with the Pixel 9 series at all whatsoever. The 9 base does not feel like it's marginally left behind the 9 Pro, the 9 Pro XL. So the 9 Pro and 9 Pro XL having the additional camera sensor, the 9 Pro XL having a larger display, and both the 9 Pro and 9 Pro XL having additional more memory than the Pixel 9. However, as far as things that you guys can see, my kids are playing games on there, and they're really loving the animations. They're loving the fluidity of the gameplay on the Pixel 9. So yeah, I have to give it up to them. Like, if my kids can sit here and just immediately get immersed into what they're doing on these Pixel phones, it's got a stamp of approval. It definitely got the stamp of approval. I gotta give it out to them. Big question to answer. Am I looking to get a Google Pixel 9? Like, is that in the cards for me, anytime soon? And, I'll be honest with everybody. No, I am not looking to get a Pixel 9 anytime soon. And that is only because I still have my Pixel 8a, which is not that old. and it is very fluid. I really, really, really like my Pixel 8a, that I don't feel like I have to have the Pixel 9 right now. Will I have the Pixel 9 anywhere down the road? And the answer to that question is abso-freaking-lutely. I will get the Pixel 9. And I know there's those people who's holding out for the Pixel 10 because you want to have a tensor chip that is not made by Samsung with its Exynos department, but made by TSMC. And that's totally fine if you want to wait for the Pixel 10. But I am telling people right now, if you were on the fence worried about this device and how it's going to function and perform, so far, I can tell you guys that it's not giving any noticeable issues from jump, which is a good sign. Now, I can't speak to the fact as if I have the phone and I can give you guys a full in-depth review. But in order for me to do that, I have to have the device. Okay, this is only my first impressions of the phone because I was able to play around with it for about an hour and do whatever I wanted to do with the phone, and then they relocked the phone back into their security system after I was done with it. So yes, I did get some time to take it off. I did get some time to maneuver around. It was fun. Took pictures all around the store, and then I deleted the photos off the phone. That way I'd free up the memory. But walked around the entire Best Buy shop. Hit up, the novelty section, took some photos. That was really, really, really cool. The speaker sucks, too low volume compared to the rest, but that's it. And usually by now I would find a lot of flaws. I don't know. With the volume, I didn't have a problem hearing the volume on the 9 Pro XL, the 9 Pro, or the 9. So I don't know. I mean, if you're comparing it to iPhone, I can tell you guys right now, though, the iPhone 15 Pro Max volume on that phone is louder than the Pixel 9 Pro XL. They had a iPhone 15 Pro Max on display, and I was able, the guys at Best Buy are pretty cool. I'm not gonna say what location and where I did this at because they, I don't want to get them in trouble. But yes, they did actually take it off the security system and let me walk around Best Buy with it and just fiddle with it for the whole hour that, my kids and stuff were looking for cool things. So I was able to actually just play around with it and not have to stay at the desk and play around with it. And so I took it up to where the iPhone section was, and I did compare it to the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Yeah, the Pro Max's volume and audio is louder than the 9 Pro XL. So if you're coming from an iPhone 15 Pro Max and you've upgraded and switched over to the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL, that's something that you may notice off key is the volume. But as far as everything else to it, I haven't found anything either to really complain about. Stress testing it and everything like that, because the guys let me download a bunch of stuff and I was starting to run a whole lot of things in the background. And I was waiting for some heat up, some warmth, any of those things. And no, I didn't get it. I didn't get it at all. Including they went ahead and rebooted the device for me. They did a factory reset and reset up everything with their demo account, basically. And you would think that even with the wipe that the rep did at Best Buy, the wipe and then re-signing into the account that they have for demoing on the display, and you would think that it would heat up from all the apps downloading and everything like that. It actually did not. Surprisingly, it did not. Would you get the 9 Pro XL if you upgrade? Not the 9 Pro XL, because I don't care for bigger displays, but I would get the 9 Pro. So the smaller version is what I would get out of it. As is me, I more gravitate to smaller phones than I do with large screen phones. But I will say that this year that Google, I'm not going to say right off key that they knocked it out of the park. I don't want to put the cart before the horse and say that. But what I do want to say, though, is that I was fucking impressed by just how smooth everything was. And it was like I said, you know what? I don't have the phone. So shout out to the dude who let me take the phone around the store and use it. Because they're not supposed to do that. I'm so shocked that he was still able to do that. He was just like, yo, man, I'll take it out the security thing. Just don't leave the store with it, man. It's my ass on the line. And since he went out of his way to do that, I'm not a thief. I'm not going to screw him over. I mean, he didn't have to do that. So yeah, for a whole hour, I got to play with both the Pixel 9 and the 9 Pro. I was pleasantly happy. Well, it was a 9 Pro XL. This is the reason why if you see in the little video clip that I posted last night, the 9 and the 9 Pro were still in the security connections at the Best Buy display, but the 9 Pro XL wasn't there. It's because it was in my hand. I was playing around with it. And it was a lot of fun. I really, really, really was just wow, I was impressed. I mean, No, no, I'm not knocking on my Pixel 8a. I really like my Pixel 8a. I like sticking with it, and I really like the A series overall. And it's not because um, whatever. I mean, pricing is one thing, right? Like I can't spend a whole lot of money on smartphone technology, and I got kids that I got to support, right? Like those things come first before me. So, if I can get a Pixel at a much lower cost, I will, which is why also I'm kind of holding off too, because I am kind of waiting for the Pixel 9a. There's already leaked rumors talking about it. There's a leaked image of what it may look like. And so we're kind of getting into that. I'm curious how the battery life is because I've been hearing it's quite good. I've been hearing the same thing about it being quite good. I can't give you an analysis of it because, like I said, I only played around with it for 1 hour. So I can't tell you anything about the battery life of just 1 hour use. But what I can say, though, is at the time that I was using it around the store, taking photos and recording videos, when they took it off the display case thing, it was like at 98% battery is when they took it off the security tag connector thingy. And so when I walked around the store for that hour and I came back after taking photos and videos and comparing and doing those things, it was at 97%. Yeah, I dropped 1% in 1 hour of me actually using it. So to me, that's actually pretty good. But I can't say that that's what it's always going to be because, again, the phone is in the learning curve process. It usually takes like 2 or 3 days before the phone figures out like how you use the phone in order to optimize the battery to your usage. And some people could just kill the hell out of a phone on everything that they do. And it's just crazy that they can do that. So I'm just like, whoa, you know what I mean? But yeah, I am caught between a rock and a hard place because if I did have, $1,000 to burn, I would get the 9 Pro. Like this year, I would go with the Pro model. But if I decided to go and get the base model 9, I wouldn't feel like I was lacking anything. I do smartphone photography on Instagram, but a lot of the shots that I get or whatever, I can fudge it around. I don't absolutely need a telephoto lens to be able to do what I do on Instagram. My photography and the stuff that I do and the photography that my brother does, because that's what we do is we just go out there and we just fire away at some photos, post them online and, give somebody something to look at, as well as get people's feedbacks and, try out different tips and tricks as far as our photography goes and what we do, how we achieve the shots that we achieve. My brother's more better than I am at it. I'll tell you guys that much, but yeah, with these devices, if I get the Pixel 9, I wouldn't be missing anything, but I do kind of want to shoot for the Pro model this year or next year, actually. That's on several things, right? To me, the Pixel 9 Pro is the newer of all, right? We've always had a larger Pixel. We've always had a smaller base model Pixel, but we've never had a small Pro model Pixel. So that's kind of the reason why I'm shooting for that. I'm shooting for the one thing that, is kind of new and stands out of the bunch, right? Like with, the Pixel Watch 3 that I plan to upgrade to, I'm actually going for the 45 millimeter version, the XL model. I'm going for that Pixel Watch 3 as my upgrade from the OG Pixel Watch. So there's a lot of things that I'm going to have to start saving up money for to grab. Playing around with the Pixel tablet too at Best Buy, and I had a lot of fun playing around with that thing. Definitely for sure want to have that, in my day to day. So a lot of these things I genuinely and technically do want to have, and I will get them over time, little by little by little. And as I get them, maybe not an unboxing because there'll be like so many unboxings. Like, and who really gives a shit about an unboxing after you've seen about 100 of them? But a lot of like my review points on it, I think this coming year with everything that I'm changing on my channel this year, a lot of things I'm going to kind of try to stay away from what a lot of people are saying and just kind of like talk about the things that people are not talking about. And of course, also really kind of pushing on my smartphone photography and how these smartphones really kind of help out with that hobby of mine, how it plays into everything. Because there's a lot of things that I'm kind of going back to when it comes to Google Pixels and it comes to Android. One of the main things that I am kind of going back to, and I'm having a lot of fun with, to be honest with everybody, is actually custom ROMs. And I am enjoying, what developers are coming up with out there. They are coming out with some really crazy stuff. The most favorite one right now, as of to date, is the Evolution X custom ROM. And just, the reason for that is just how much more customizations does it have? How much things does it allow me to control? That's the biggest point. Besides the user interface and all the little quirky things I can do, right? Like, my Pixel 6a here, I have it pretty much set up, and I have it set in a way of my likings. Of course, with the font, I have the Nothing Phone font thrown on there. Changed up the quick settings and added, mobile and Wi-Fi rather than having it as one in stock Android, so I can control Wi-Fi and mobile data separately. What up, VTech? It's got some flair to it. It's got some flair with all the stuff that it can do, and obviously, aside from that, being able to play around with everything that has to do with the code within Android in itself, editing build props and those things, I'm able to do that. And I like having that control. So since Android 15 is not bringing anything gigantically different from Android 14, I don't mind being on Android 14 for another year while everybody else gets Android 15 and makes YouTube videos talking about it. And it could do this, it could do that. I don't mind being on this because this allows me more and more control. And if I absolutely want extreme control over my pixels, I can root them and use Magisk and Safety Net to hide the fact that it's rooted, so bank apps and everything can still work, and fudge around with some more build props just to get things my way. Having the customization to kind of like change up the user interface, add things like a splash screen. It was kind of hard to see because of the brightness of the logo, but that little logo you saw on the boot up animation, that was the CyanogenMod logo. If you guys know about custom ROMs and know about CyanogenMod, you guys will remember that. But even like things like this, where gives a color to each one of the quick setting tiles for mobile data, for my Wi-Fi connection. I can edit the icons on the top, remove the clock. I can add in to where I can see like uplink, downlink in real-time usage on the very top notification. You see the arrows up and down, kind of like what we used to have on old school cell phones. What happened with Helium Mobile and the 8? The Helium Mobile is on the Pixel 6a. Right? This video I recorded the other day where the Boost line, that Boost gave me another month on for being with them for 2 years. It didn't let the line go, so I threw it in the phone, but I still have Helium. Helium is never going anywhere out of my pocket. That line will always stay with me. Yeah, the ROM is actually pretty cool. I mean, with every custom ROM, you're gonna have some slight issues. Like this morning, I spent a few hours because of my Pixel 8a, I flashed that over to Evolution X. I'll be honest with everybody. So there's my Pixel 8a. I have it pretty much, themed up to the Spider-Man thing. So literally, it's mostly stock Android as far as like how everything else goes. But I did, kind of like fudge around with it a little bit. And one thing with the Pixel 8a that kind of like got me a little upset was the fact that RCS was broken. However, there was a PIF APK that somebody had gotten, and you sideload that onto the Pixel 8a and it fixes RCS messaging. So I got that pretty much fixed. And I got the Spider-Man logo on the top left corner just sitting up there upright. The in-display fingerprint sensor is the Spider-Man logo, and when you tap on it, it has an animation. So these are things I like having this full control over my Android. So for me, okay, and this is subjective, this is just for me. Some of you guys don't care, but this is just for me. For me, I like having this type of control. And I haven't even installed any modules onto the Pixel 8a yet. Like right now, I am sifting through a lot of modules for things that I want to be able to execute on my Pixel 8a. That eventually I will do a full in-depth review of my custom Pixel 8a once I have all the modules that I want and I have it installed and they're making sure they're running properly. If I have to do any edits or anything like that to the build prop, I will. If there's any additional scripts that I need to flash to recovery, I'll flash them. So like right now, like my Pixel 8a is going to be my ultimate custom Android phone. I am going to fuck with this thing completely like I used to back in friggin' 2012. And that's the idea. Of course, I will make little videos here and there to show people how I achieved the things that I achieved, like changing the Wi-Fi icon to, hiragana text on the top. Having the Ninja Blade instead of the frequency, the radio frequency bars to see how much bars of service you have. It's a Ninja Blade. I did all kinds of weird things to it, but I generally enjoy it. This is like one of the things that I really, really enjoyed about Android and why I made videos so much on it from way back in the day. Missed when the live stream started as I was doing therapy. Oh, these with those TRX ropes. I am now sore, but it's worth it. I enjoy your videos, watching them. Nice. I appreciate that, Melissa. Appreciate that very much. So yeah, that's initially what I'm doing with it. And in all actuality, I can pretty much just like show you guys what's up with it real quick. Let me just switch scenes. And we'll go with that. So yeah, there's actually live on my desk right now. And so I'll show you guys real quickly like how I can mess around with this. As far this is just a basic customizations built in within Evolution X. So if you want first time I have a secondary camera set up. I'm using my other Pixel as a secondary camera for the live stream, so bear with me. But anyways, yeah. Oh, let's see. So the evolver is basically the setting. And hang on, because this is probably reading backwards for you guys. So give me a second. I wonder if my son's home from college because he's supposed to have been here. It won't let me fudge this around. I'll figure it out later in settings. But anyways, yeah. So you have all these different things that you can do: themes, lock screen, status bar, quick settings, notifications, gestures, power, buttons, miscellaneous. So you have all these things that you can mess around with when it comes to, just editing the device and getting things the way that you wanted to have it, gotten to, right? So like in themes, you have the system font, system icons, icon shapes. So like I can change the icons on my device with any one of these shapes here, including the little devil. I have it on cloudy right now. You can do cylinder. So there's all these different ones. Signal icon, you can change it. Like I said, I have Ninja Blades as mine. But you can change it to all these different custom ones they have here. Even the Windows logo. And even the Wi-Fi icon, you can do the same thing. So these are all the different Wi-Fi icons you can have. And the navigation bar, if you just decide to go with 3-button navigation, obviously, they got like an Android one. You have Moto, they have the Evolution X, Nexus. You have the old school ones from like Kit Kat and Ice Cream Sandwich, and even Samsung's, the One UI. So you have all those different ones you can if you decide to have 3-button nav. Most people today are using gestures, but you can do all these really cool things. Brightness slider style. So you have like different styles you could do. Cyberpunk, double layer, leafy outline, lightly. Thin outline, minimal thumb, new morph, old school. Let's do new morph. So it's applying that change. Let's go. Brightness, lower. Okay. So let's go to the double layer. It's switching up that change. And let's see. Oh, there we go. And this is where I edited the for the biometric in-display fingerprint sensor. All right, I have it set on Spider-Man right now. I can do Pokemon, look at different Pokeballs, Pac-Man, MIUI. Yeah, like some weird custom ones, logos and things like that. Batman, Captain America. And then you have all these. So you can set that up. And then to couple with that, you also have animations for when you touch the in-display sensor. Right now I have it on this one, which is DNA. DNA really kind of like shows when you tap the display. It's like anytime that I lock the screen. has that. This kind of sprouts out. So, anyways, yeah, that's my Pixel 8a. The Pixel 6a is also modded too. I'm using it right now as my secondary camera to shoot in this angle. And when I get better and better at this, I'll have it set up in a better way. But yeah, there's so much customizations you can do with custom ROMs, and I really miss the days of doing that. And Google Pixels right now are the easiest. They're the absolute easiest to literally flash. I mean, as long as you don't get them from Verizon, Verizon locks the bootloader, and if you get it from Verizon, the bootloader will definitely screw you over. Somebody barked. Somebody just passed around by my place. I don't know who they are, but it's got my dogs barking. Let me put my mod there. I hate when people come like by the front of my place and then they just... I'm looking out through my window right now if you guys aren't sure. But I'm looking out that way. There's a window. I was making sure the person's not trying to get in. But anyhow, not much time left. But yeah, Pixels are a lot easier to flash. I mean, Samsungs, you could do them too. Obviously, there's a little bit of layers of things you got to do with Samsungs, but it can be achieved. Motorola's the same way. LG the same way. A lot of them are pretty much, if you know what you're doing, you can. Let me show you guys. So let's close that out. And here we go. Okay. Somebody just like screen share. Let me know if it gets choppy. But anyways, this is the website that I went for the Pixel 8a. First of all, if you're going to attempt to do this, make sure that you download the correct custom ROM for your device. You know, just because it says, you know, Pixel 8, 8 Pro, 8a, don't just grab the first one. Grab the one that is associated with the code name of your device, right? So the Pixel 8a is Shiba, the 8 Pro is Husky, and then the 8a is Akita. So if I go down to where, like, you know, it says the latest builds are, how it has these right here. Spoiler, Pixel 8a, Akita, latest downloads. You would grab the ROM file from there. But just kind of give you an idea of what you're going to, you know, just what you're going to be doing. The developers are really nice enough to lay it out in layman's terms for you. Okay. So if it's a first time install, if you're coming in from directly stock Android, you definitely want to download the files, and they'll have the files for you and where you download them. So when you download the custom ROM, the zip file, you'll also have links to downloading these items, right? The boot image, DTBO image, the vendor kernel boot image, and then the vendor boot image. You'll download those and the custom ROM all onto your computer. You need a PC to do this. You'll reboot the phone into the bootloader. And the one step that they don't tell you here, because they assume that you probably already did it, but if you hadn't done it, you will have to unlock the bootloader on your phone, which is pretty easy to do. So if you download the necessary USB drivers, Android Studios, which will allow you to use the correct drivers along with platform tools that's saved in your program files. In platform tools, you will open up a PowerShell or command prompt. And if it's connected and it's reading your phone, the way you can tell is typing in ADB space devices. Okay, some people have to have an additional command, like my PowerShell wants me to do period and backslash. So period, backslash, and then ADB space devices, and then it will tell you if it's reading the device or not. And then you would just type in ADB flash unlock or ADB OEM unlock. It's going to wipe your phone. So anything that you have before you do that, back it up so you don't lose it. It'll wipe your phone. Your phone's wiped, it restarts, skip all the sign-ins, just get straight into the operating system. Go back and open up developer options, and then re-enable USB debugging. And just on the safe side, one thing you do notice before you do the OEM unlock, make sure you're in developer options before you do that, and make sure you have OEM unlock turned on. If it's not checked on, then doing it through ADB is not going to work. You have to have that checked on. If yours is grayed out and you cannot check it on, it means your bootloader is locked. But anyways, yeah, so yeah, they pretty much lay it out. Like once you have your bootloader unlocked, you have all that stuff, you're ready to flash the ROM. Like I said, you'll download all those files. You'll reboot into the bootloader. So once you're in bootloader, your commands change. It's no longer ADB, it's now fast boot. So everything will be like fast boot. So you'll type in like fast boot flash boot and then space boot.image, and they put it out in the way that you can type it out. So if you want to, in your command prompt, you can just copy and paste these. Number 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like you'll be able to copy and paste these in number 3 because those are the actual commands right there. Fast boot flash boot boot image, fast boot flash DTBO image, and then the kernel vendor, and then the vendor boot. Once you have all those things flashed, then you'll just type in the command fastboot reboot recovery. The phone will reboot into the new custom recovery, and then that's where you'll follow the rest of the steps, where you'll go down to factory reset and recovery. You'll format data. Once that's done, I like to do this just to be on the safe side, but I would, in the recovery, reboot back into recovery, and then I'll begin to ADB sideload the custom ROM zip file. And always name it small, something very easy to type, but also for you to know that that is the specific ROM zip that you're going to flash. Like me, for mine's example, I would put, like for the Pixel 8a, I would put P8AEX93. And I know that's like, Pixel 8a Evolution X 9.3. So when I type that in, where I put in, ADB sideload, I'll put that ROM name .zip, and yeah, it'll flash it. Because like the ROM zip files can have really long names because of the date that they were patched and everything like that. That could definitely make it very. It would increase the chances of a mistake happening. Okay, if you're already on the custom ROM and you're on the previous version, like 8.7, then they just give you the idea right here. Just sideload the new updates. If you're going to do OTA, which they, on my devices, the OTA was broken. It didn't work. So I had to do sideload, but you would get those sideloaded in. But anyways, yeah, that is the reason why that I've been flashing custom ROMs on my Pixels. And the reason why that I am going to keep them on the custom ROMs that I'm using. These guys have been amazing at updating. They have an update every 3 months. So it's like quarterly updates. So it's not like, Google. You're not going to get a security patch update every month. I'm okay with that. Some people might not. And if you're not, this is the reason why that I would say don't put a custom ROM on your phone, because you're going to be disappointed in the fact that you're not getting the updates. You will get quarterly updates. So the last update that they had was in April, and they just released an update for August. So the next one will be around December. And I'm pretty sure Evolution X will be working on Android 15. Once that becomes live and available, and they get the source code files of Android 15, they'll begin to start working on Android 15 Evolution X custom ROMs for all the devices that they support, which, they support quite a bit of them. So if you're going to try out any of their custom ROMs, do them a solid and donate for all their hard work, because building these ROMs for multiple different devices, having different developers working on specific devices, and all of them coming together to bring finalized results of custom ROMs for these devices they've been working on, it's not easy, So, if you want them to support more devices than what they currently have, a donation to them would definitely help out, because they use that money to buy more phones, so that way they can develop for those phones, if that makes any sense. Anyways, not really much of a live stream today, not too long. I do want to thank everyone that popped in and hung out for a little bit. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys want to you know, hear about my thoughts on the Pixel 9 and 9 Pro, replay crew, go to the beginning of the live stream, listen to that. I had a lot of fun with it. A very, very amazing time. Shout out to Sneed, B-Tech, Melissa, Carlos, Lucky Chucky, Bobby, Blind Jedi Master. Glad to have you here. Gene, thank you all for coming in and hanging out with me on the live stream for a little bit on both the Pixel 9 talk and, of course, the custom Android jargon. I know some of you guys may not be interested in it, but maybe you guys found it cool. If you guys have any questions, hit me up on DMs on X or on Threads, well, Instagram. If you guys are on that platform, you guys can DM me and I'll share with what I know. And if I know the links to things that can help you out, I'll share that too. But I will say this. Do not try to flash a custom ROM on your Android device unless you are absolutely sure and that you have the confidence in knowing what could be, what could go wrong, and how to fix what could go wrong. Okay, if you don't have the confidence that you can find the answer to fix any issue with your device, don't do it. And remember, keep your emotions in check when you're posting in the XDA forums. If you run into issues with a ROM you're trying, don't start cussing them out and stuff like that, because if you want them to help you, pissing them off is probably not the best idea. So, anyways, that's it for right now. Thanks for watching. Y'all be cool, be safe. Love, peace, chicken grease. Talk to you on the next one.